Vatican announces death of Pope Francis, aged 88. Pope Francis, the first Latin American leader of the Roman Catholic Church, has died on Easter Monday at the age of 88. The Vatican's announcement of his death came just a day after he appeared in a wheelchair at St. Peter's Square to wish thousands of worshippers gathered there a happy Easter. Pope Francis was discharged from hospital last month after 5 weeks of treatment for an infection that led to double pneumonia. Catholics around the world have been mourning his death, and crowds of well-wishers have begun arriving at the Vatican. Among those who have paid tribute to him was Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who praised him as great man and said she had the privilege of enjoying his friendship, advice and teachings. King Charles, who met with the Pope privately earlier this month during his state visit to Italy, said in a statement that he was deeply saddened to hear of the Pope's death. His Holiness will be remembered for his compassion, his concern for the unity of the Church, and for his tireless commitment to the common causes of all people of faith, and to those of goodwill who work for the benefit of others. The news of the Pope's death was announced by the Vatican in a statement this morning at 7:35 local time, 5:35 Greenwich Mean Time. The Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the home of the Father, Cardinal Kevin Farrell said in the statement, published by the Vatican. He taught us to live the values of the gospel with fidelity, courage and universal love, especially in favor of the poorest and most marginalized, he continued. With immense gratitude for his example as a true disciple of the Lord Jesus, we commend the soul of Pope Francis to the infinite merciful love of the one and triune God. The acting head of the Church of England, the Archbishop of York, described him as a holy man of God who was also very human. Francis's whole life and ministry was centered on Jesus, who comes among us not to be served, but to serve, Stephen Cottrell said in a statement. Rest in peace, Pope Francis. May God bless him and all who loved him. U.S. President Donald Trump wrote on social media. Trump's Vice President, J.D. Vance, who met the Pope on Easter Sunday, said his heart goes out to Christians. I was happy to see him yesterday, though he was obviously very ill, he said. The governing of the Catholic Church will now be handled by the College of Cardinals, its most senior officials, until a new pope is chosen in an election known as conclave. Later on Monday, Pope Francis's body will be moved to the chapel of Domus Sancti Marthi, the guest house inside the Vatican where he had lived since becoming pope, unlike his predecessors who lived in the papal apartment in the Apostolic Palace. At 2000 hours, 1800 hours Greenwich Mean Time, the cardinal, whose task it is to handle the transition over the coming days, will preside over the confirmation of Francis's death as well as the placing of his body in a coffin. That is the role of the Camerlengo, Cardinal Kevin Joseph Farrell. He will be joined by the Dean of the College of Cardinals, Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re, and Francis's family.